in my previous video, I ignorantly said this. So then I just thought to myself, I know how to draw, you know, I know how to draw pen and pencil. Let's just fucking draw out my project. Let me just draw it myself. Turns out I can draw, but I can't quite draw like that. So, you know, that idea got quickly abandoned. And so in this video, we're going to take a look at the concept of Blender anime one more time, but this time with the perspective that I've gained from a couple of experiments that I did. The first one being a Manga Shader that I built in Blender. The second one using AI relighting on individual frames, as I'm a fan of the idea of like AI relighting. And the last one, of course, being taking a look at the shading in Neverness to Everness and sort of coming to peace with the fact that maybe what I'm trying to do is not possible. 3D is just not going to look like that without extensive 2D work. Let's get started. My first brush with disillusionment came after I made a couple of Blender exclusive anime videos. And by exclusive, I mean we only have models, shaders in the GUI engine, and some very basic Blender compositing. So I'm not going to go into too many details with the takeaways because I already covered like all my problems with it in the previous video that I made, which I'm going to link below if you want to check that out. Because I would eventually come to learn that like that anime aesthetic couldn't be achieved with Blender on its own entirely. You need a pipeline that has Blender, that has some After Effects. One of the biggest examples of this problem came when I was trying to get bold character expressions out of my characters. You ever watch anime and they do like the comedic things and the eyes get like really white, or the face gets like super hand drawn looking and stuff? Unlike drawing, where you can just draw the character completely different in a new frame, in Blender you need to actually deform the mesh as is or have a completely separate mesh, and the mesh is like the comedic mesh. And I just came to the conclusion that like after that this is just not going to work. But after reaching that conclusion, I decided to try and mix 3D and 2D to make a sort of manga build. See, the trick with this one is that you'd make your characters and all your assets and objects in 3D space, pose them in 3D space, and then render out each frame as it would look in your manga. Port them over to Krita and then just draw over them. See, this is where things got a little bit interesting, because though I think this method works pretty well, I didn't want to make a manga. I wanted to make an anime. And so here's where things start to get complicated. You know, that's the part that's deeply offensive the most about AI, is that it can do everything better than me. Like, look, it takes this image of this cafe that I made, Bloom. This cafe street at night, je ne sais quoi. Oh, want it during the day? Ba-bam. And I'm like, shit, it looks fucking great. I can't do that. And it did it with every single like concept art that I had for my characters. I'd put it in to ChatGPT and it just gave me something that just looks better. Okay, I can't deny it. All right, I can live with that. Okay. Or can I? So I had a plan. I was gonna take my old animation video, okay? I was gonna feed each and every single frame into ChatGPT. It didn't work. And the reason it didn't work is because of AI's inability to keep lighting consistent between frames. So I'll pass it and say, this image, to get this new image, it's basically redrawing the entire thing from scratch over and over again and not using any references of previous images. For example, like background stuff and the color of characters' hair, etc. After this experiment, I kind of decided to just abandon AI in the art process altogether because it's really not helpful. Well, at the end of the day, it didn't work, and I decided, you know what, maybe this dream is just not gonna happen. So I decided to shelve it, and then inspiration struck. I've been playing this game a lot, okay? This is my ultimate cozy game. First thing that I learned is that we need to accept the fact that 3D anime has light features that behave differently to their 2D counterparts. Where 2D artists can just draw shade wherever they want to, 3D anime people, we kind of have to work within limitations. Have hard-coded shade drawn, say, under the neck to show off the nose, creases in their clothes, and when light gets very dim, the character models themselves are not going to be able to go as dim as the rest of the world. The buildings are lit differently, and with these ideas in mind, I decided I am going to redesign my old 3D avatar. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to make a character, okay, and I'm going to use Neverness to Everness's aesthetic to guide my shader decisions. So far, okay, this is what my character looks like. It's very early day, okay. I do hope you found that useful, in seeing how I came to the conclusion that my dreams are impossible. And hopefully I'll see you in my next upload.